My name is Molly, I'm 32 years old, and married to Justin, who is 35 and works in an office. I work from home as a freelance fashion designer. My work was unpredictable at first, but I eventually landed a big project with a great paycheck. Thanks to that, Justin and I were able to move into a luxury high-rise apartment. Since I was the one who really wanted to live there, I agreed to pay the rent myself. Justin was thrilled about the new place, and I thought we were set for a happy future. But I didn't expect what came next. One day, Justin brought his mom, Betty, to our apartment. She's 65 and had been living alone since her husband passed away 3 years ago. Hi, Molly. Hi, Betty, it's been a while, what's going on? Justin looked uncomfortable. She wants to live with us. Why? He explained that Betty's house was old and falling apart, and since she didn't have much money, she wanted to stay with us for a while. Oh, I see, I said. I understood the situation, but honestly, I wasn't thrilled about it. Our apartment was perfect for just the two of us, and I didn't know Betty very well. She felt like a stranger to me. Please, Justin begged, her house is in bad shape. I'll make sure she finds a smaller, newer place soon. He held my hands and pleaded. Okay, I said reluctantly, assuming it would only be for a short time. A month later, Betty moved in. Thank you so much for letting me stay in such a beautiful apartment, she said. No problem, make yourself at home, I replied with a fake smile. But then, as soon as she settled in, she said, sorry to ask right away, but can I borrow some money? Money? I was shocked by how blunt she was. Yes, I've been going to the doctor a lot, and it's expensive. I just need $300 for now. I understood that medical bills could pile up, so I handed her $300 from my purse. Then, one day, Justin brought up something unexpected. You know, we should get a new car, he said. What? We just bought a car 2 years ago, I replied, confused. It's too small, we need a bigger one. I didn't see why size mattered since it was just us two, and now Betty. Why does it need to be bigger? I asked. My mom doesn't like the current one. What? Why? She wants a more luxurious car, like a Mercedes. I was completely confused. What nonsense. We can't afford such an expensive car, I thought. Who has the money to buy a new car for such a silly reason? Does Betty even have a driver's license? I won't buy an expensive car, tell her that, I said firmly, rejecting Justin's idea right away. At the time, I didn't understand why she cared so much about our car. Then, once again, Betty asked me for money. My medical bills have gotten more expensive, and I'm behind on payments. Could you help me again? She said. Is there something serious I should be worried about? I asked her. She hesitated for a moment and then said, not really, I've just been feeling a bit down and having trouble sleeping. My therapist is expensive. I'm really sorry. I see. How much do you need? I asked. About $1,000 for now. 1,000? I gasped. I didn't know much about therapy, but that seemed way too expensive. I'm sorry, she said. My insurance only covers a few sessions. After that, I have to pay half the cost. I see. Hold on, I'll get it by tomorrow. I was shocked by the amount, but I forced myself to understand. Therapy could involve tests or other things that might cost a lot. Even after that, Betty kept coming up with excuses like medical bills or transportation to visit sick friends to borrow more money. Over time, the amount she borrowed added up to over $5,000. Even though I was doing well at work, I was getting tired of this. Then, one day, I noticed something odd. I peeked into Betty's room when she wasn't around. What? There were designer bags and wallets neatly displayed on her shelf. I was shocked. How could she claim to have no money and still own such expensive things? She had borrowed so much money from me, yet she had all this luxurious stuff. I started to doubt her stories about medical bills. A month later, Betty came to me again. Molly, can I borrow some money? She asked casually, without any guilt. Can you wait? I said. I planned to confront her at the right time. I called Justin, who seemed clueless about everything. I want to ask you something, Betty, what have you been using the money for? I said. Wait, what's going on, Molly? Justin asked, confused by the situation. You know, my therapy sessions, prescriptions, Betty mumbled. Not just those, right? You've been buying designer clothes, bags, and other things. Are you even really seeing a therapist? I pressed. Of course, she replied. Then show me the receipts. You must have them, I said firmly. Well, Betty couldn't say anything more when I pushed her with direct questions. That's when I realized she wasn't spending the money on therapy or medical needs, but on other things. Wait, what are you two talking about? Justin asked, still lost. Betty's been misusing the money she borrowed from me. It's over $5,000 now, I explained. Even so, you're being too harsh. Can't you talk to her more gently? Justin said, defending his mom like a typical mama's boy. Finally, Betty confessed. I don't have receipts. I've been shopping and eating out with my friends, she admitted. I had a feeling, I said. You seemed way too relaxed for someone who claimed to be struggling, and you didn't seem depressed at all. If all of this was a lie, then pay me back right now, I demanded. Betty looked at me with pleading eyes. Wait, I can't come up with that much money all at once. I've had enough, I said. I pointed to her room. You have a ton of designer stuff in there. Sell it all. If not, please move out. Justin jumped in to defend her. Hey, you're being so one-sided. She deserves a little luxury too. Luxury? I shot back. She borrowed over $5,000 and wasted it. This feels more like a scam than anything else. You're being disrespectful. Don't act so high and mighty just because you're paying the rent. Justin snapped at me. If you're not happy with this, then you can leave, Justin yelled. What? I was shocked. This is nonsense. I was so angry. I felt like steam was about to come out of my ears. I glared at him. Did I say something wrong? He asked, acting clueless. You're the one who caused this mess by bringing Betty here in the first place. You sit around doing nothing, and who do you think is paying for this nice apartment? I snapped. You're so arrogant. It's infuriating, he shouted back. Get out of here now. Rage had completely taken over him. Fine, don't regret this, I said. I grabbed only the essentials and left the apartment. I quickly found a new place. Since I worked remotely, I could do my job from anywhere. I didn't care about living in a high-rise as long as my new home was comfortable. As for the old apartment, I had no intention of going back. I had been the one paying the rent, and I doubted Justin could take over the payments with his salary. Even if he wanted to, it wouldn't be possible. My income was much higher than his. I decided to consult with the realtor who had helped me before. It's becoming hard to pay the rent due to personal reasons, I said. Though this wasn't entirely true, I just wanted to move on. I'm sorry to hear that. What would you like to do? The agent asked. I'd like to break the lease, I said. Later, while I was working, I got a call from Justin. What? I answered. What do you mean what? What have you done? I just got told we have to move out because the lease was cancelled, he shouted. Yes, I told the agent I wanted to break the lease, I said calmly. I don't live there anymore, so I have no reason to keep paying the rent. Don't you understand that? But my mom and I still live here, he argued. This is nonsense, I said, amazed by Justin's reaction, and stepped outside to clear my head. I don't live there anymore, so why should I keep paying for that apartment? I told him. If you're in trouble, maybe ask your mom for help. She could sell some of her fancy things to get money, I added sarcastically. Shut up. You were the one who wanted to live in a high-rise in the first place, Justin shot back. Well, if you don't want to move out, why don't you take over the lease yourself? I replied. Oh wait, I guess you can't afford it with your salary. He was clearly frustrated and couldn't come up with a better argument. You know what? You can probably afford a cheap apartment, so why don't you move there with your mom? I said. Are you crazy? My mom already spent the money from selling her house, and I don't have any savings. How am I supposed to find a new place? Not my problem, I said. He had been relying on my income for almost everything. How did he still not have savings? I realized just how irresponsible both Justin and his mom had been. This is what you get for being foolish for so long. Figure it out yourself from now on. Are you saying you want us to be homeless? You're still my wife, he yelled. I told you, find somewhere else to live. I'm done with you. Goodbye, I said, and hung up. A few minutes later, my phone rang again. This time, it was Betty. Molly. I'm really sorry. I'll pay you back. I promise. Please don't kick us out, she pleaded, crying. I felt astonished, but also sad. I didn't want to lecture someone older than me, but I had to be honest. Betty, you should live within your means. If you don't have much money, you need to adjust your lifestyle. If you want something better, you have to work for it. I've learned as a freelancer that if I want a certain standard of living, I have to earn it myself, not rely on others. You're right, it's all my fault. I'm so sorry, please, don't let us end up on the street, she begged. I'm sorry, but that apartment is already leased to someone else. You'll have to move out. This isn't about me, it's a legal matter now, I said firmly. I ended the call, feeling cold but resolute. Later, I heard from the realtor that Justin and Betty begged him in tears to let them stay in the apartment. However, he told them that a new tenant was already moving in soon, so they had to leave. Even if they had stayed, Justin's salary would have been completely eaten up by the rent. They couldn't afford anything else from the start. It was ridiculous for them to expect me to keep paying when Justin was relying on me the entire time. He had let his temper get the better of him, and that led to a point of no return. What an idiot. Through people who knew them, I found out what happened next. They couldn't rent another apartment because Justin didn't have enough money for the broker fee or deposit, and no one was willing to be his guarantor. They ended up moving from motel to motel, struggling to make ends meet. Betty's short work history meant her social security payments were low, and they barely had enough money to eat. They brought this situation on themselves. Meanwhile, I landed another big project and became even more financially secure. Looking back on my marriage, I realized that depending too much on someone, or letting someone depend entirely on you, is unsustainable. When things fall apart, it causes incredible pain. Eventually, Justin and I officially separated and divorced. By that point, our feelings for each other had completely cooled, and there was no reason to stay married. Now that we're strangers, I feel relieved.